Hi, Hahn families. Phil Gilbert, principal of Hahn Intermediate here. A real quick video on parent drop-off in the morning. So I'm going to kind of just give you the lay of the land of the sketch that I drew up here. So this right here is Harvey Drive. If you were to extend this out onto my tablecloth, this would be Dayton out here, and then there'd be a stop sign out here that goes to Dayton. This would be the front of Hahn Intermediate, Central Elementary over here, but then you would lead back here to Harvey, which goes all the way back to Regional Park. I've labeled the DPW building, that's that blue building right there on the corner of Harvey and Dayton, and then the basketball courts and the tennis courts here. Our loop extends into our parking lot and around the parking lot. Hahn Intermediate is here. Here's that door 8 that leads into the 5th grade hallway, and then here's door 6 that leads into the office. Those are the stairs that lead up to both of those entrances. There's also Davison Middle School back here, and then there's also a parking lot that leads back here. And then here in the middle, you've noticed cars that are parked. Many of our teachers park here and then walk into the building from here. And then there's these cement buckets with lines here to keep cars from crossing over into this area. The crosswalk that we used to use last year is still here, but most of the time when you get here, this is what it looks like in the morning. Our process is going to start at somewhere between 7:10 and 7:20. There's a couple factors that go into when this starts. We want to make sure we have supervision in the building for our students, and so we're not going to let students into the building to make sure until we know that they're safe and supervised in the building. It means we have paras and other staff members out in the hallways supervising students. So depending on the weather too, if we have great weather, we can start getting students out and lining them up on these lines here. You notice these lines here have little marks on them. That would be the yellow lines that you're seeing out on the sidewalks here. That would be for like our 5th grade students, and then back here for our 6th grade students. And then all the way across here, let me get a little bit closer here, all the way across here would be like the sidewalk that extends around the building. So again, a lot depends on when we start. If it's one of those rainy mornings like the first morning, we're probably not going to be able to start until 7:20 because we don't want students standing out in the rain, and we want to make sure that they're at least supervised indoors. So we're going to try and get them out as quickly as possible to get this line moving. We know that this is kind of a bottleneck here at Harvey and Dayton because they got cars coming in and nobody leaving to get out, which kind of backs everything up down to Fernco. So with that being said, let's talk about how we can get this to move a little bit quicker. Now the last 2 days, this is Thursday that I'm taping this on, the last 2 days, most of our families are finished dropping off maybe to this point here by about 7:34. That's when the last car, I start walking because usually I'm stationed here. Usually I start walking in towards the building at about 7:34, and there's usually only a few cars still in line at that time, not way out here like we start the morning. So this process is working pretty good, but I think we can probably move it and speed it along a little bit better. And by doing so, again, in the morning, we're starting out like this. So as soon as we get out here, we'll start getting students out from the cars. And then even if this, the Batmobile here, if this has a 6th grade student in it and they're still here, they can still get out and walk down the sidewalk to those 6th grade doors. And then the same thing over here with the speed racer car. If this is a 5th grade student, they can still get out and walk safely down the sidewalk to that 5th grade door. I know many times our families want to drive all the way around and wait till they get right here, but we know moms and dads and grandmas and grandpas and aunts and uncles, they've got to get to work and get moving on with their day. So even if we let them off over here on the sidewalk, this is still very safe, and they can walk to either the main office doors or into the 5th grade hallway doors to get into the building and safely go. So what does that look like? All of our cars drop off. So once they all get off, I'm going to get these guys out of here. So they drive out of the loop here. And then what needs to happen is all of our cars need to move up as far as they can go and continue to move up as far as they can go until the line stops. Once that line stops, then that's when our students need to be ready to get out safely onto the sidewalk. And again, what that does, as you can see, is it moves the entire line further along, and it allows for more cars to get into the loop. Again, cars are moving, new cars are coming in off Harvey, and then once we get stopped, once we get stopped, all these cars, all the students in these cars get out safely onto the sidewalk. And then, again, the next row comes. Once we get all these cars moved off, we'll move them off. They're on their way. The next group lines up, slides up, and moves up. Some of these cars may have already dropped off. They may want to just get out and get back on their day with Harvey. But that's where the whole thing keeps moving. Once we stop, we get set. What we don't want to have happen is we don't want students to get off where there's no sidewalk. So here's where the parking lot that goes to the middle school is at. Here's that back wooded area, and then regional park over here. We don't want students getting off over here and walking through the middle of this mess in the morning, just because that's not very safe. Some families will come up here and they'll park, and then they'll wait to cross in to come over here, because we do have one of our staff members here located at this area to help them cross across. But what we don't want is students just walking across. So again, just a reminder, 7:24 students are going to be able to enter their classroom. That's when teachers are contractually supposed to be supervising students. So 7:24 is that time. 7:34 is the start of school, but there's a 6-minute homeroom in there for our students to eat breakfast. I've got another video coming that'll explain a little bit more about breakfast. But again, breakfast is free to all of our students. They can grab that breakfast on the way in the morning, and then take it to their class. If they get in early before the 7:24 time and are standing in the hallway, again, they can eat it while they're standing in the hallway, or they can wait to enter into the classroom and eat it in their teacher's classroom. So, quick video on parent drop-off. I hope it's been helpful, and I look forward to seeing all of you guys in the morning.